go up here on this entry into space, the more G's you feel inside.
Roger, 0G, and I feel fine. Capsule is turning around. Oh, that view is tremendous. Roger, capsule turning around, and I could see the booster during turnaround just a couple of 100 yards behind me. It was beautiful.
Roger, 7, you have a show at least 7 orbits.
Roger, understand go for at least 7 orbits.
Everything worked perfectly, and then there was an indication that John's heat shield was loose, which meant that after the 3rd orbit and on the deorbit that he would burn up if it was.
Well, I certainly want to make it a two-way trip and come back, of course.
It's the first thing I actually remember in my whole life is sitting in front of our nice black and white TV on the floor, because I had to get real close because I was really excited about this, watching the John Glenn flight. And the thing I remember most about it is sitting there worrying about whether or not John Glenn was going to survive when that heat shield was getting loose.
During re-entry then, instead of jettisoning that retro pack here and getting it off so I had a clean heat shield for re-entry, we left that on so that the heat shield would be held in place until the aerodynamic force of re-entry would tend to hold the heat shield in place. Now that made for an interesting, well, the re-entry was going to be interesting anyway. But it was even more interesting because as I would glance occasionally out the little window, I could see chunks of that retro pack breaking up and coming back by the window.
My condition is good, but that was a real fireball, boy. I had great chunks of that retro pack breaking off all the way through. Rocking quite a bit. I may still have some of that pack on. I can't damp it either.
And I couldn't be absolutely certain then whether it was the heat shield breaking up or the retro pack. And obviously it was a retro pack or I wouldn't be here today. But anyway, it was that kind of re-entry was the second problem we had in addition to the control system failure.
If you listen to the tapes, it's pretty clear that he knows that there's something going on there, and it's not the normal procedure because he knew the procedures really well. He knew that retro pack should have been gone.
Coming out of the blackout period and saying, Houston, this is Friendship 7. And of course the nation went nuts. The world went nuts.
Main chute is on green. Chute is out in reef condition at 10,800 feet and beautiful chute. Chute looks good. On O2 emergency and the chute looks very good.
His odds of not surviving this was about 1 in 6. So it was an extremely high-risk, unknown effort that they were going into, having never done it before.
And it came time for aligning the capsule and the proper attitude for retrofire. There was under thrust of the rockets themselves, and the result of the intermittently failed horizon scanner meant that the rockets were pointed in the wrong direction. Each one of those failures made me fly a little bit too far, and it all added up to 250 miles. Had a lot of people frightened. I was not frightened by that because, contrary to their lack of knowledge about my location, I knew exactly where I was. I was back on the water where I wanted to be.
We did research. We learned the new things first. And those were, and with a little investment and educated citizenry, away we went. We became a leader in the world in just about a century and a quarter.
It was a total resounding success. And it was a great, great honor and pleasure to be a part of such a marvelous and successful program.
I was just talking to Bob Cabana, Kennedy Space Center director, and I said, boy, Bob was saying, what a spectacular night this turned out to be. It really is. The weather's ideal. Hope I didn't jinx it. Bob Cabana is the 10th director of the Kennedy Space Center here. He manages a team of 9,000 civil servants and contract employees. Prior to his appointment to the Kennedy Space Center in October of 2008, he was a former space shuttle astronaut, served as director of NASA's Stennis Space Center in Mississippi. He's flown on 4 space shuttle missions, serving as the pilot of Discovery on STS-41 in October of 1990, the pilot of Discovery on STS-53 in December of 1992, the commander of Columbia on STS-65 in July 1994, and the commander of Endeavour on STS-88. That was the first space station assembly mission in December of 1998. Mr. Cabana also shares the distinction with Senator Glenn of serving as a colonel in the United States Marine Corps. Please welcome Kennedy Space Center Director Robert Cabana.
Thanks, John. And, John was talking about my space flights, and I was thinking, yeah, it was really cool, but boy, I'd give anything to go back again. And then I got thinking, I flew my last flight in '98. Well, Senator Glenn flew his last flight in '98. He was 77 then. I got a few good years left in me. I might get back to that space station yet. What a great evening. What a wonderful way to kick off 50 years of the Kennedy Space Center by kicking off a celebration of 50 years of Americans in orbit. And I can't tell you what a thrill it is, what an honor it is for me to share this stage with 2 of my boyhood heroes and a fellow Marine test pilot. Tonight's theme is on the shoulders of giants. And what these guys accomplished, what the Mercury program accomplished, we wouldn't have gotten to the moon, we wouldn't have done anything had it not been for you guys. And I hope that all the Mercury folks that are here for the past couple of days are having a great time celebrating. And I can't see you all out there, but I'd like a round of applause for all the folks that are here for the Mercury program. I definitely want to thank Delaware North and all of my folks at KSC that helped put tonight together, but there was one person in particular, as far as this Mercury reunion goes, that was just tenacious in his ability to pull it together. Is Hugh Harris out there? Hugh, thank you. There he is. It's really been a fun couple of days. We've had some great panel discussions, and it's really fun sharing stories. And we look back on the past 50 years and what we've accomplished here at KSC and at NASA and in the United States, and it's truly remarkable. It has been phenomenal what we have done. But as great as our last 50 years have been, I think our next 50 years are even going to be better. And we have a path forward here at KSC. We are making tremendous progress, enabling commercial space operations and preparing the way for a big rocket that's going to take us back to the moon, onto Mars, to Lagrange points, you name it. We are going to make it happen. And the reason I am so confident that we are going to be successful, and even more so in the next 50 years, is because of the people that work here. You Mercury guys, I promise you, the new engineers coming on board KSC today are every bit as motivated and talented, and they want us to succeed. And we do stand on your shoulders. We thank you for all that you've done. I hope that you really enjoyed tonight, that everybody gets a lot out of it. But remember, we're not done yet. We got a long ways to go, and we're going to make it happen right here at the Kennedy Space Center. Thank you.
Bob actually provided me with a moment that I will carry with me forever. Last year when he took me inside Discovery over in the Vehicle Assembly Building, and I think we're in the Vehicle Assembly Building, wasn't it? It was in the OPF. In the OPF. It was in the OPF at the time. And he actually let me sit in the left seat. And that was special. That was special. I said to him, gee, this is really roomy in here. Sure. Florida's own Bill Nelson was elected